It was another long day at the shop in New Jersey. The kind of day that makes you question why you even bothered getting up in the morning. I had been working as a mechanic for years, fixing cars, trucks, and everything in between. And most days, the rhythm of engines and the smell of oil made the work bearable. But that day was different. The morning started like any other. I was already behind on jobs, the phone wouldn't stop ringing, and the coffee I grabbed was lukewarm at best. Every car I touched seemed to resist me. Bolts refused to turn, engines refused to start, and every problem led to another more complicated one. I remember muttering under my breath, "Why today? Why now?" By mid-afternoon, I was exhausted. My back ached, my hands were covered in grease, and the stack of work orders on my desk looked like a mountain I could never climb. I had lost my wife almost a year ago, and even though I threw myself into work to escape the quiet loneliness of the house, some days it followed me here anyway. I had to retrieve an old tool from the basement, a place I rarely visited. Most people avoided it. It was dark, cramped, and smelled of dust, oil, and long-forgotten mistakes. I grabbed a flashlight and headed down the creaking wooden stairs. Each step groaned beneath my weight, echoing through the basement like a warning. As I reached the bottom, I heard it, a faint, broken sound. At first, I thought it was just the pipes, or maybe a rat caught somewhere. But the sound persisted, soft, desperate, almost human in its pain. I froze, heart hammering. Following the noise, I discovered her. A small white kitten lying on the cold concrete floor. Her fur was dirty and matted, streaked with blood around her head. She looked up at me, eyes wide with terror, and immediately tried to crawl away, but her body was weak, trembling. Every instinct told me she had been hurt, badly. I remember my stomach tightening. My hands shook as I gently wrapped her in my jacket. She was so fragile, her little body shaking against my chest. I whispered, "It's okay, little one, I've got you." She didn't respond, just trembled, as if the world had only ever been cruel to her. Getting her out of the basement was a challenge. She flinched at every sound, every movement. I had to be slow, careful, yet quick enough to prevent further harm. Once I had her in the cab of my work truck, I drove as fast as I dared to the nearest veterinary clinic, the streets slick from a light rain. Every red light felt endless. Every second stretched into an eternity. I kept glancing at her small body, hoping she was still breathing, willing her to hold on. When we arrived, the vet team immediately took her in. I waited, pacing the lobby, heart in my throat. Minutes felt like hours. I replayed the events of the day over and over, asking myself how someone could do this to such a small, innocent creature. Finally, the vet came out. "She's in rough shape, but she's a fighter," she said. "If she makes it through the night, she has a real chance." Relief washed over me, but guilt lingered. I couldn't stop thinking about her alone in that basement, the fear she must have felt. I made a silent promise. If she survived, she wouldn't go back there, not ever. Over the next few days, I visited her constantly. I sat by her cage, talking to her softly. She seemed to recognize my voice, lifting her little head whenever I spoke. Gradually, she started to eat, to move around, to respond to the warmth and care I provided. I named her Snowy, for her fur, and perhaps for the small hope she brought into my life. White as a clean page, a new beginning. When she was finally healthy enough to leave the clinic, I took her home. My house felt emptier than usual without my wife, but Snowy brought a strange comfort, a reminder that life, even in its smallest forms, could still bring warmth and connection. She followed me everywhere, hopping onto counters, curling up on the couch beside me, sitting patiently as I worked on cars in the garage. Her presence filled a space I thought would remain empty forever. One night, as I watched her sleep curled against my chest, I realized something profound. Losing my wife had left a void that seemed impossible to fill, but in rescuing Snowy, I had found a piece of myself I thought I had lost. The act of saving her had saved me too. Life, I understood, has a strange way of balancing pain and hope. Snowy could have been just another victim of cruelty, just another lost life. But she survived, and in doing so, she reminded me that even after the darkest times, there is light. There's a reason to keep going, to keep caring, to keep loving. Every day with Snowy is a reminder that compassion matters, that no matter how small or fragile a life may seem, it deserves protection, care, and love. And sometimes, in giving that love, we heal the deepest parts of ourselves. I often think about my wife, about how much I miss her, and I think about the moments of joy Snowy brings into my home. Her purrs, her playful jumps, the way she curls up beside me after a long day. She's a living reminder that life can continue, that love can grow in unexpected places, and that even broken hearts can find a new rhythm. Snowy came into my life by chance, but her impact is permanent. She taught me that healing isn't linear, that hope isn't conditional, and that love can be found even in the most broken and unexpected places. This story is more than a rescue. It's a reminder that compassion can heal both the giver and the receiver, that even in our darkest moments, life can bring new connections, hope, and unexpected joy. Every life matters, and sometimes saving one life can save your own heart too.